Hello and welcome to Paxton Road TV. This is the reaction show. That's all I'm going to say. This is the reaction show for that bloody shower shit that we just witnessed. Tottenham Hotspur versus Aston Villa. The score: Tottenham 1, Aston Villa 2 in our last home game. Probably the last time we'll see Harry Kane playing in the Spurs shirt. And if he is the last game, well done. See you later. Thanks for the memories and thanks for the goals. Gentlemen, welcome to you. Welcome, Mike. Welcome, Chris. Welcome, Darius. How are we all doing? I'm not asking that silly question again. How are we all doing? Yourself. That is just absolutely ridiculous. I know how you're doing. I know how I'm doing. I've got no alcohol. I've got no beers. I've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. So it's not a good night at the moment. So I'm just gonna ask you guys what's your thoughts. Chris, welcome to the show. Thank you. First time. Yeah. Do you want to take it away?
Not a great first time, is it, mate? Not a great first time.
Have you say?
First off, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it. I've never ever been one to wish the season was over and be glad the season was over. And then I can't wait until this season's over. It's just been so painful. 10,000 fans at the stadium. You pay £60 to go to the game, and then you get that, especially first half, which just. There's no effort, was there? There was no effort, no desire, apart from the first 8 minutes. But we've had it all season under Mourinho, play well, get a goal, and then just sit back, and then the game goes away. I think we're crying out for a playmaker, someone like an Eriksen or a Dembele, to keep the ball. Under the Poch era, when we conceded a goal for 5 minutes, they got on the ball, kept the ball. And then the initial reaction from the opposition team who had just scored a goal kind of dissipated, whereas now we can see the goal and then it's panic stations for the next 5-10 minutes. And that's what happened today. But yeah, I'm just fed up, to be honest.
That's the best word, the best couple of words, fed up. It is just literally they build a little bit of hope. Obviously the Wolves game's built a little bit of hope. It's in our hands for Europa. It's this, it's that. Our home game that we've got, first game in a while that we've had fans back in the stadium, 10,000 fans. I know it's a big stadium, but they were there. They were vocal. They were making noise. And we scored first. Oh, brilliant. Happy days.
Great goal as well, to be fair.
Great goal. Second goal was a great goal as well, though, wasn't, but to be fair. But to be scored by that player, and you could see the way he reacted to that goal told me everything about the team. The way Reguilon reacted to that own goal gave and almost like an insight into the whole of how he's probably feeling. So despondent. It was almost like it was the end of the game. He was like, well, it was 1-1 at the time.
He's been shit for ages, though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say.
Let's not be about a bushy. Reggie, as much as I do rate him as a player, but he's been shit for since Liverpool. That Liverpool game, I think it was. He's just been pony. And don't get me wrong, he's not the only one, but I mean, those mistakes he's made today have just killed us. The own goal, he wasn't even under pressure, and yet he's hit a welding. It's hit our top goals. He's hit our top bins.
That was a worldie of an own goal. Like I keep saying, the way he reacted to it, it was like it was the goal that won the game. It was like in the 95th minute or something. The game was still up for grabs then, but it was just that draining of energy from him. Kind of went through the whole team. There was an early.
I mean, did you see Toby's reaction? He couldn't even
grabbed him up, didn't he?
He was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? I can't even jump for it. It's too high."
You just can't do anything. But like you said, the whole team just seemed to be devoid of any sort of ideas, any sort of cohesion from that moment onwards. We were just like playing hope football. We were playing hope football. Long balls being sprayed into areas of the pitch. The final third was terrible. You could have picked any of them midfield three. They didn't have enough about them today in terms of pace, in terms of like moving the ball quicker. There was no urgency in the play. But they weren't the only ones. Don't get me wrong. Son was awful. Absolutely terrible. Terrible. Reguilon, awful today. Dyer looks like, again, out of position for certain times. Toby Alderweireld looked like he didn't even want to be there. Tanganga, okay. But again, not enough urgency for me to get down in them wide areas. Steven Bergwijn was probably our best player on the day, and he gets taken off first. That's criminal. Darius, I've got to come to you next, and then I'll come to Mike. Just give me your thoughts on that.
I'm so done. I'm so done with this team. I'm done. I think And this, I'm not giving Jose any sort of like credit, or not even credit, but I'm not trying to defend Jose because I think he's responsible for a lot of what's going on at the moment. But what I will say is if those players can't get themselves up for this game, and I said this in the preview, this is the most important game out of the 3 that we played, the final 3. They can't get themselves up for this game to motivate themselves for those fans. There's no hope. There is absolutely no hope. And all I can say is, Ryan Mason, you've thrown yourself in that pile now by choosing some of these players, because I understand Reguilon did not play well. He played awful today. He made 2 mistakes that led to goals. But from when we scored that first goal, the midfield from Aston Villa they just ran through us. And Harry Winks, I just thought was disgraceful. I thought Ali was disgraceful. I just think that some of these players now, I don't care if they have one good game, they need to go. They just need to go. A lot of these players need to go. We just need to get a manager in that knows what he's doing. I said in a group chat of ours, if you've got a bum for a manager and you're playing bums for players, then what are you expecting to kind of get out of them? You're not going to get nothing out of them.
What I will say is, this is we have to look at the players today. I can't, again, we can blame Mason. We can blame Mason.
You can blame Mason. I'm sorry.
He didn't make the right choices in terms of the start 11, I believe. I don't think he made the right choices for substitutions, but he's not been a manager before. So if you had even an experienced manager, you'd say, oh, that's making rookie mistakes, blah, blah, blah. He's doing stuff which he thinks is right. But some of these players have got to take more responsibility. Come on now.
Yeah, how many times are we going to keep blaming the manager? It's the players.
You can't.
The players, they're criminals. They're criminals.
They're mercenaries.
It was terrible because, like I said, they did the same thing under Jose. What we're seeing now is just a lack of desire to actually play for the shirt. Now, I know that these players don't support the team. Quite a few of them don't really care. I know they don't care. We've got a few players that do care, but you can clearly see that there's some players on this pitch today that just didn't care. Mike, you give me your thoughts on the game. Just your thoughts.
Oh, mate. I thought, do you know what? I thought we started well. We did start well. The first 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was, I was actually impressed with that, how we were pinging the ball about. We took the goal. I mean, Bergwijn, let's be honest, that goal was a great strike. Absolutely great strike. But after that, we coasted. That's what our problem was. We just thought, we get 1-0 up and we start coasting. And that's what our issue was. And then it just goes downhill from there. Reggie, I've said it before. I'll say it again. How many times are we going to let Reggie... I mean, the problem is there's no alternative to him, so you just have to persevere, don't you? But those two, the first goal, absolute weldy, just in the wrong blood net. It wasn't even under pressure, was he? He could have brought it down, or if someone just shouted to him, "You got time." You didn't need to clear it or hit it on the volley or whatever.
Why is he trying to strike it there under no pressure?
He was under no pressure at all. He could have brought it down and then played it out, but instead he's just hit it. He swung at it like a golf club, and it's gone in top bins. And then the second goal, I don't even know what he was thinking. I just have no idea. He's a player that is lacking confidence, and it's quite clear because I don't think he actually made a pass that actually more than 5 yards actually got to a player like his own teammate. And then you have to look at who's playing beside him. Moon boots. I mean, you can't really fault it. Well, the thing, they do, mate. But I know you can't really fault Moon boots for the second goal because it has just caught everyone by surprise. But I don't know.
Someone mentioned on Twitter that Reguilon was the only one that wanted to try and win the ball back. I know he made the mistake twice to give the ball away, but he was the only one that was running. He's the only one that was running to try and win the ball, but nobody was running. Nobody cared. It was just like you said, Mike. I think there's just some poisonous players in that team, and they just have to go.
But what I can't understand is just with regards to the. I think you mentioned this before, Chris, at the very start. Welcome, by the way, Sid. We'll come to you in a minute.
Hello, mate.
Just the fact that you've got your fans in there for the last home game. It doesn't matter about how you play, but it's the effort levels. Now, I keep saying the effort levels were just non-existent after the 15 minutes. Once they got that equaliser, we didn't look like we wanted to do anything in the game. Yeah. It's mind-blowing. Sid, I'll come to you. What's your thoughts on that shower shit?
Listen, I actually had the pleasure of watching it on my phone because I had to take my boy to football training. And oh my God, honestly, God, that was just diabolical. Like I said before, 10,000 fans in the stadium after 1 year. And if you can't motivate yourself and put a performance in front of them 10,000 fans who've paid £60 for a ticket, you should be ashamed of yourselves. They were pathetic, honestly, absolute diabolical. All right, you went 1-0 up, yeah, and then we've just done a Jose Mourinho special, sat back. Harry Kane, did he actually touch the ball in the first half in the penalty box?
Twice the whole game, Sid. Twice the whole game, I think.
Yeah, you know, and you know what?
I wouldn't even say we sat back, Sid. I don't think we sat back.
I just think we just
coasted. We just literally didn't give it. It's like they just didn't give a shit. I mean, Harry Kane's dropping deep and trying to ping 50-yard balls, which, if you're a centre back or even the full back, you read them all day. You can read that like a book, and it becomes so easy to defend. I mean, you might as well just kick it back to the goalkeeper and let him start again. I mean, there's just no point.
I think that's a big issue.
Go on, Chris.
I think that's a big issue. I mentioned it earlier. I think we're crying out for a playmaker. Getting rid of Eriksen, not replacing him, I think was criminal. And now you talk about lack of confidence. I think the players Kane will sort it out for us, so we'll just coast along. And if Kane goes deep, teams know that now, so they can try and. Son isn't running off him either, like he used to earlier in the season.
Son's giving up. Son is gone. I said this to Darius earlier. Son looks like he only plays when he's happy. He doesn't look happy at the moment. In the last few games, he hasn't played well. Today, he had a shocker. The final third, it was absolutely pony.
Then, Sam, when's the last time he had a good game?
That's what I'm saying. He's not played well in the last few games.
I remember when Kane's had a good game. Like, if he wants to go, fucking just go, mate. 150 million. That's what we want. Let us just go from there. And I mean, great players come and go, don't they? I mean, we've had great strikers in the past. We've survived. If Kane wants to go, offer us 150 million, 160 million. And if his heart's not with the club, then fuck off. Go.
We're going to do a show on that next week, Tuesday. We're going to do that.
Great striker, don't get me wrong. He gets 30 goals a season. I love him as a striker, but if his heart's not in the club, he has to go. Yeah. Same with Son. If his heart's not in the club, go. It's going to be painful, but
it's inevitable painful. It's inevitable pain, isn't it?
If Ndombele doesn't want to play for club, go. Get the money that they're worth, and then we just start up. It'll be painful, but we'll rebuild and we'll come again. And that's what might have to happen.
It's like they're saying no one player is bigger than the club, you know?
No.
And yeah, we've had players come and go, like you said, Mike. It's true. But the problem is, you get 150 million for Harry Kane. Who are we going to go and get? This is the problem, isn't it? If Daniel Levy's going to be in charge of it.
Well, this is the thing as well. If you're going to get rid of these players, then it's not just an on-pitch rebuild. It's an off-the-field rebuild, i.e., your scouting network, your recruitment. Get a director of football. We've mentioned this before. Get a director of football, someone that's proper, knows the footballing world inside out. There's a couple of Germans who we all know who could probably do a fantastic job. Build a philosophy, set the brand of football that we want, and then in 5 years' time, maybe we could be in a different position. But it's going to be a painful.
Chris, I'm going to come to you. And this is a comment we've got here from Mollen, and I want you to answer this one. Do you agree that do we need a complete rebuild from top to bottom?
We've needed a complete rebuild for about 4 years, and we haven't got one. that 16-17 season was where it should have started. We needed a couple of world-class players or really top players to push the players in the first 11, and we never got it. And I think the season after that, we just didn't sign anyone. And now we're seeing the results of that, where we've got players who look bored. I mean, most of those have been together for, I don't know how many years, 5, 6 years
almost, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I go back to it again. I'm sounding like a parrot here in a broken record, but I honestly believe that going forward, attacking-wise, a playmaker will help sort a lot of stuff out. You mentioned Son there doesn't look happy. I think he and Dele have been two in particular that have really suffered from Eriksen going and not being replaced. Eriksen reminds me of kind of De Bruyne, and it's kind of a De Bruyne Sterling situation with Son and Eriksen. Ericsson gets the ball 50 yards, sees Son slightly unmarked against the wing back, pings it to him straight away. All of a sudden, he's one-on-one. Whereas that's not happening now, so Son's not getting joy. He's trying to have to make everything himself. And then Ericsson would go deep, get the ball from Toby and Jan, creates a massive chasm of space there where Ali is able to operate, ghost into areas and stuff. And I don't think Ali's passing is good enough for a playmaker. I mean,
no, it's not.
He can't even pass 5 meters.
The three players that we had in the midfield today, Winks, Hojbjerg, and Dele Alli. Between all three of them, there was not an ounce of pace in there. I couldn't understand why he wouldn't bring Mora in there to even at least give us some pace.
There's no creativity.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I think without creativity,
is zero.
They're all hiding. So the amount of times we get the ball and then there's a bit of space in front and then it goes behind or sideways. It's just easy hiding balls. And then relying on Kane to drop deep and then sort stuff. But then Kane drops deep and there's no one running for him.
So does Ali, exactly, Chris. So does Ali, and then there's a massive void in the front. I just think that there's a lack of tactics, and obviously you can't put the blame on Mason for not having any sort of tactical identity. He's a 29-year-old under-18s coach that's been chucked in. So I think there's a lack of tactics, and I think he's chosen his mates who aren't good enough, and understandably he's going to choose his mates, cool, but they aren't good enough. So now we've just got a recipe of two things that just aren't good enough, that isn't working. And I think that yes, this has been a nightmare for me. This is really, I said in a group chat, I said this feels like an end of something. I don't know what specifically, but this feels like the end of something. I personally believe that we just need somebody, a manager who understands his players and will play to their strengths. And I think that will go so far in our team, because I do believe that there is quality in that team. Why would you need to get rid of it?
Do you think there's enough quality in there? Because I don't believe there's enough quality. I think we've got right. Hold on. When I say that, if you look at the starting 11 today, they should, on paper, beat Villa 9 times out of 10, in my opinion, because they on paper they're better. But what we didn't have was no desire. I don't think we can get the desire out of these players anymore.
Exactly.
And that's the problem. I don't think we can so I don't care who comes in, they can get them to play a style of football, but styles of football don't always win you matches. Sometimes
so that complete restart then. So is it just a complete restart then?
Restart.
That team though, you say that team on paper should beat Villa. I mean, there's no one in that team for Tottenham that is going to dictate the play and manage the game. I mean, the player we needed was playing for the opposition today. He's the one, as in Grealish.
And he wasn't even fit. He's not even 100% fit.
It wasn't. But do you see how well Villa kept the ball when he was playing? It was only until he went off that Villa actually looked a little bit shaky and were just giving the ball away needlessly. He's the type of player that Spurs are crying out for.
Could have got him.
I mean, obviously, money talks, and Levy. Well, you could argue if we never try and make a bid for such a player, but that's by the by. With Ali, Winks, and Hojbjerg, there's no who's going to be the person that's going to dictate the play. Who's going to create the chances for the likes of Son, Kane, Bergwijn? There's no one there.
Well, guys, we're going to put up stats today. Well, and then we'll come back to some comments, but we can talk over the stats because this is interesting. I'll just get rid of this comment here that Mr. B's got up. Welcome, Mr. B, by the way. So 61% to us, 39% to them. But look at them shots. It didn't even look like we had any shots, in all honesty. I know we did because, like I said, there was a few saves that was made. But what I mean by shots, it just didn't look like we were going to score. The keeper pulled off a couple of good saves. We got into really good positions. That final ball was terrible. You know, the crossing was awful to players. There was chances where people were in the box and were crossing into the areas where their players are there. It was just a shower of poo. It really was. And when you see this, it's just like...
What's the point in crossing the ball into the box when you've got no one in the box that's going to head the ball? I mean, apart from Harry Kane, who else can actually head that ball? Son, if the ball hits his head. But you're not going to get Bergwijn winning aerial battles. There's just no one in that team that's going to win an aerial battle to score with their head. So what's the point in putting the ball in the box? Keep it on the deck.
Those stats there that you show point to the issues that we've got. That 61%, half the shots point to complete lack of creativity. 20 shots with 39% possession just point to we can't keep the ball. And I agree with Darius completely there. if you get a manager in who has a game plan, we sacked our manager who had a game plan, whether it was right or wrong, Mourinho's game plan. He had a game plan and had those players drilled in whatever plan that was. And then all of a sudden, before the biggest game in our season, the cup final, you get rid of him and you get someone who's never managed before. It looked to me like those players don't really know what they're doing and what their jobs are.
They hadn't got a clue what they were doing. They had no clue. There was no clue about how to formulate a team in the midfield area. Like I said, when you've got no pace in the midfield, you have to keep the ball well, but then you have to make sure your final pass is decent as well. Runners off the ball. So our forwards weren't doing any of that. Winks receives the ball, and I thought he was okay in the first half. wasn't the worst player. Okay, but that's his average. That's his level. I don't think his level is going to be above that. So he was doing as best as he can do, given his skill set, in my opinion. But then you've got Dele Alli again, who's in the number 10 position, I didn't know what he was doing today. It just didn't seem like he was doing anything, just nothing at all. And that's what I couldn't get. Why not make the change for someone like Moore, who's going to be a bit more dynamic? Put him in that number 10. And even if he's not making threaded balls, at least he's running with the ball, attacking them, as what he's been doing all season and giving problems to most of the teams all season. That I've got to blame Mason for that. His naivety with the starting 11.
Why is he not started? He's been playing well. He's been causing defenses
because he said that he wants to keep the same team, doesn't he? He said that he doesn't want to change much, and it's clear that he doesn't want to change much.
He changed two players, didn't he? He bought in Bergwijn and he bought in Winks.
True.
Yeah. And
I don't know. Like I said, sorry, Sid.
No, go on. I was going to say, how many times did the commentator say today, Harry Kane's on the ball so deep, there's no one making a run for him in the area? Time and time again, they said that. And, everyone's watching it. Was Mason not watching that from the sideline? Is he not thinking, look, Harry Kane's so deep, where's my forward runners? Where's Dele? Where's Bergwijn? Where's anyone? In fact, and
he must have said something.
Well, I think
in the second half, he did push up in the second half. I think that's because he had no option. But
I think in fairness to Mason, he could be like a 29 first job in management at a big club. Let's be honest, it's like a deer in headlights situation. Pochettino had it a few times where he didn't know what to do. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
happening, and maybe
rabbit in the headlights job. And this is like I said. This comment from Pilcher. Cut Ryan some slack. He's not alone. Him, Powell, and Levy have been putting this together. Players get better when left out, but frankly, they're all pony and they're flop. So, as I said, maybe if Ryan had started more, or maybe if we would make. I don't know, but this is what I'm saying. In hindsight, it's all great. There's team selection, but if you look at it on paper, we went 1-0 up. We've constantly dropped points from winning positions. This has got to be a mentality thing. There's such a mentality thing with this team. As soon as the equaliser went in, I saw the body language of the players completely changed. It's like, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. And mistakes after mistakes. Yeah, but they were giving the ball away for fun.
When you see Reggie making more mistakes, you think, fuck me, how many more times are you going to make a mistake?
But the thing is, I see players on the bench seeing players be rewarded for bad performances, and I just don't think when you come off the bench and you're seeing that Winks is starting, stinking out the place every single week, Dye is stinking out the place every single week, Rodon not even on the flipping team. I'm sorry. I understand that Mason's 29, and I get that he's this novice manager who's been thrown in, but in my opinion, I said this way at the start. If you're an interim manager, you put your best players out on the pitch and you clap your hands and you just tell them play. You don't do this whole mates thing. I understand it's your friend and you have trust in them, but the best players are not playing on the pitch. So you're already putting your team at a disadvantage, and then you're not going to set them up to do anything that's going to change the way that the game plays because you don't have any tactical idea. So like I said, you're trapping yourself. I'm struggling to kind of defend Mason now. I'm just 4 games in a row and he's playing the same box.
Mason he's going to get
his mates.
I can't imagine that Mason's just purely going to choose that team on his own. I'm sure he's got Gibbs, he's got Powell, who's vastly experienced. He's gonna liaise with them and talk to them about lineups, etc., isn't he? So it's not going to be just Mason. So I mean, again, we don't know what's going on in the training ground. We just don't.
I think with this, it's similar to how when Frank Lampard was at Chelsea, he picked the players that he knew. He had lots of players at his disposal, and as we've seen, when Tuchel's come in, he's played the players that he thinks are right and fit. Frank Lampard was doing a mates thing. It seems like Mason trusts. So if you're a novice, you're going to go to things that you know. So he's going to go to, I've played with these guys. I know how Harry Winks plays. I know Harry Kane is my best mate. He's always going to play him.
But they're not backing him. In the final, they didn't back him. In games, they haven't backed him. So why are you carrying on?
You could argue that with the players didn't back Mourinho. They didn't back.
And this is my point, Mike. This is why if you're an interim, you just play your best team. Then that's the point I'm trying to make. And if you've got players that aren't good enough, you just play the best team. And if they still lose, then I'm sorry, but we as fans know that Ndombele on the pitch makes a difference. We as fans know Rodon's been playing more. I'm sorry, but I'm not putting this all down to naivety when you've literally just said that he's got Ledley King and Chris Powell helping him out. This has got to be some sort of hidden agenda for certain people or something. Because
what I will say is, as we've talked about before, is it him that's picking the team completely? Has he been influenced by others in order to get certain players into the shop window? Because Ali's been playing regularly. Winks is now coming the last game. You know, there's players that they want to get rid of. Maybe
let's wait till the summer then. Let's wait till the summer then. Now we're gonna have to wait till the summer for that answer.
If that is the case, then fine. Get rid of if that gets him in the shop window to get rid of this dead wood, which we
see the next season though, then it's
loads. But it's down to the next manager to try and get rid of some of this dead wood, isn't it? I mean, someone's got to get rid of it one way or another. Someone's got to get rid of this dead wood. It's not down to Mason to get rid of it. He's only going, like what Sam says, he's only going with what he knows and who he trusts.
He don't know any different, does he?
And you can't really exactly. And let's be honest, if we were probably in Mason's position, again, we don't know what's going on at training ground. There might be issues that we're just never going to be aware of. But
what I will say is about Mason though is, given the substitutions, that's when he could make a difference.
Yeah.
If you're a coach and he's done all his badges, right? This isn't working well. I've started my mates. They're not doing well. Harry, I can see you're not quite up to the races. Delhi, I played you in the last couple of games. Maybe it needs something else. That's where I can say to him, right, after 55 minutes, not 70 minutes, 55 minutes, it's not working. Let's make a change. That's where I can say to him. But again, he's probably just a rabbit in the headlights. I don't know what to do.
But it comes down to experience again, doesn't it? 100%. Experience of when that right moment is to make that sub. And I mean, Mourinho probably made the subs later than what Mason did, to be fair, but they're just not the right subs. I mean, again, you look at Winks. Why is Lo Celso not started? I mean, he didn't have a bad game the last game, did he? We won.
No.
So why is Winks coming?
I'm going to read out a few comments.
Changing doesn't help.
I'm going to read a few comments, and I'm going to come to each of you for a bit of a summation. Oh, we've got loads of comments. Anyway, Ali was running like a headless chicken. That's from Ricky. Moore at number 10. Got to be number 10. He should have been number 10 for me. At least at some point in the game. Kevin, Delhi didn't know what position he was in, and I agree, he was all over the place, and he didn't have enough quality in him today. Like I said, he did well the last game, but again, it's his consistency with him I think is going to be his downfall. Mr. B, philosophical Mike, tell me Spurs philosophy, please. Well, I don't know it at the moment, so, you know, Mike, you might want to answer that because I haven't got a clue.
Well, you can't really say he's got a philosophy at the moment with Mason. So
I'm so depressed. This season has been painful. It really has. Dan, out of the whole squad, I would keep 5 players out of push. Don't mention the bottle word, but we could just go through a lot of these. Sid, I'm going to come to you. What's your final thoughts on this today's performance?
Final thoughts today's performance. You know what? I think it's proven today. Deadwood's got to go. Players are not playing. I think some of them have already seen their minds are set elsewhere. They want to leave, and I think for the best and for the benefit of Tottenham, they need to have a massive overhaul and just get rid of the Deadwood once and for all. It's been going on for too long, and tonight's just summed it up for me. Now, we're now going into Sunday with a massive issues because Leicester lost yesterday, so they now are not going to be playing like they don't care. They're going to come out.
And Arsenal just scored a winner as well, guys. Arsenal just scored a winner in the 91st minute. So they're a point behind us as well with Leicester to play in the last game of the season.
There you go. So, you know what? Everything we said on Monday is just completely turned around, haven't we? Them lot are going to finish above us by the looks of it. Everton are now coming to the equation. Leicester are going to come fighting. We've got no confidence going into Sunday. And honestly, I fear the worst on Sunday. I'm fearing the worst.
Chris?
I mean, it's just highlight the fact that we've all been saying it. There needs to be a clear out, but we needed one of those years ago. And I'm just really worried the fact that we haven't got a manager yet. We'll get one in July. You can't really start having a clear out until you've got a manager in place. But I think we'll end up getting one in July. By then, it's too late. And the clear out is going to be orchestrated by Levy and Hitchin, who don't fill me with confidence anyway.
100%.
I mean, 80 whatever million it was we got for Gareth Bale. Fair enough, he spent all of it. But I think Christian Eriksen at 11 million was the only good money that was spent. Someone said it in the comments there, I can't remember the name, but we need a director of football, but I don't see Levy doing that because I think he loves the transfers, has to be involved, and I don't think he'll relinquish that because I think he likes it too much, and it's a complete detriment to us. And I think get a manager in with a plan, the players that he wants, and then you're if any of those players are still there, you'll see a different side to them because they'll have a plan, they'll know their jobs, they'll be drilled with their jobs, and then they'll be able to perform because they'll know what they're doing, where they're playing. You won't have people like headless chickens because they'll be drilled on where they're going. But I'm just really dubious about seeing that happen because we've been saying this pretty much every few years for the last 20 years, haven't we? Like, our new manager comes in, this will sort it out, and then we're back there 2 years later with him in charge, and I don't see it changing, unfortunately. And I just want to have a rest from football and have good weekends again because I haven't had one for a year.
Gary, do you fear for the weekend?
Mate, I fear for Tottenham. I fear for Tottenham Hotspur in general. I feel like Arsenal winning their game now. I feel like if they finish above us, it's just going to look worse for us. I honestly, I'm worried. I am worried now. I'm very, very worried. I don't see how Kane stays. The only positive I can take from that is one, being able to see Kane play with Foden and De Bruyne under Pep would probably be amazing. But two will probably get 150 odd million for him. But Chris, you put it perfectly, mate. Do I trust anybody in this team, anybody in this board to sort of turn us around? Not really, no. So where do we go from here? I don't know. I really don't know. All I can say is hopefully the manager that comes in or the appointment that we make can do something to galvanize some sort of players or can kind of do something to get the club get back together because it's fractured at the moment. And the person that can start doing that is the manager, and you can start doing that by getting results. But like I said, how we get results is it seems impossible to me now. I don't know where we go from here. So sorry to be negative, but it really felt like that today. CJ said it. If you can't motivate yourself for 10,000 fans in a home stadium a year back after they've been desperately waiting to watch you play, all that you've put us through, what else can you do? What else can you do?
Yeah. That was the saddest thing for me. And like we were saying, the price is charged for them to go and watch that. Mike, your final thoughts.
My final thoughts. What, on this game or in general?
Well, both if you want. A bit of both.
God, this is painful. The game itself, we were just pony at the end. We didn't deserve to win. In terms of Leicester at the weekend, is Leicester guaranteed top four?
Top four guaranteed. No. Liverpool can. They can go fifth actually.
Regardless if Liverpool
win,
today,
we'll go above them.
Doesn't matter. Regardless if Liverpool don't win today, it still goes to the final day. So unless Liverpool get absolutely battered, then Leicester are having to play to win, or at least play to match whatever Liverpool do.
Where I'm going with that then is Leicester are going to turn up and they're going to want to play and win. So that's going to be that puts our sort of.
So that's 4-0 Spurs then, isn't it? 4-0 to Spurs because of that.
It's got
Isn't that what it wasn't that the score last year as well? We didn't be beaten 4-0 as well.
That's how it's going to work, isn't it? At
best, it's got a draw written all over it if we're lucky. In terms of going forward, and I've mentioned it already in this show. If Kane wants to go, if his heart's not at the club, then fuck off. Go. Give me 150 million. Go to Man City. You're not going to any other rival, whatever.
Yeah.
Show us the
Man
money,
City only.
and then we can start the rebuild. If Son's heart's not in it, fuck off. He can go as well. And Ndombele, if he's not into it, go. And then we just start a whole rebuild. Just start a whole. I mean, there'd be 200+ million there if Ndombele's son and Kane want to go. Go. I can't be asked with trying to keep backing these players. And I mean, Kane was shit today. He's been shit for how many games now? Son, same as Son. Yeah, if your heart's not in it, go start a rebuild. It'll be painful, but we've been here before. We've had worse times.
Sorry, but Mike's changed. Laugh out loud. Marlon's having a bit of a laugh. He's had enough. I think we all have, Marlon. I think we all have.
It's just Marlon. I'm just done, mate. I
think it's just done us. It's done us in now. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all very much for your comments as well. Please do share as much as you can. Get our name out there, Paxton Road TV. Chris, Sid, Mike, Darius, it's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful.
Do you know what they need, Sam? I'll tell you what they need. They need a fan, a diehard fan, to be allowed in the changing room before the game and at half time and let them take the team talk.
Think you could get violent, mate.
And I'm sure there'd be a different vibe, mate.
That's why
I'm not sure they need to go in at half time 11 players and come out with 5. I don't think
that's what it would be.
No. I'm only saying one fan. Just let one fan in just to take the team talk. Fuck Mason off because he's obviously shit at the team talks. Let a fan take the team talk.
I was gonna say, tell Brian Daigle Levy's there and just throw him in that changing room,
Jesus Christ!
He'll destroy them all.
Thanks, Ricky. Ricky saying great show. Thank you. Just a couple more comments in here. It's sad. Champions League finals 2 years ago can only happen to us. We are jinxed. It's depressing. Oh, Arsenal 3-1 now. That's even better. And last one, I'll volunteer with hatchets and spanners. I think we'd all do it. I think we'd all, but they would, like Chris said, we'd come out with 9 players because 2 of them would not come out again with no legs or whatever it would be.
That's not
one of them wears number 8. One of them wears number 8.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Let's just hope that we can get something at the weekend. But we're Spurs fans. We take this. We've got to go through this. It's painful, but we have to stick with the team. So thank you very much. Again, thank you all for watching. We'll see you again soon.